so passionate about Heartbeat because I've walked in the same shoes as some of our clients. It's not something that is common knowledge. A lot of people don't know, but I am post-abortive. I went through that years ago, before my time at Heartbeat, and it's one of those situations that I have a soft spot for the women that we serve because I know what it's like to be in their shoes. There's a lot of misconceptions out there. You know, we all have our stereotypes of who gets abortions, and it's, you know, well, they must be young, they must be uneducated, unchurched, you know, not know the joys of motherhood, all of those things. And to be honest, I didn't fall into any of those categories. You know, I wasn't young, I wasn't uneducated, I was churched. I actually considered myself a devout Christian with strong beliefs, and I had children. I knew the joys of motherhood, and all of those things stacked up at the time to make that decision weren't enough. What I hear a lot, and what was the same for me, was I don't want to have to do this, but this feels like my only option. And that is what I love about Heartbeat of Toledo, because we do cover all of women's options. You know, we pride ourselves in talking about education, you know, and I firmly believe that knowledge is power. The more that we know, the better decisions that we can make. And at the end of the day, no decision that's made at Heartbeat of Toledo is made out of coercion or forcefulness. We empower women with information to make the best decision for themselves. I know for me, religion wasn't enough. You know, having children wasn't enough. I was faced with lies that I couldn't handle it, I couldn't afford another child, I couldn't do it. And what I've learned also through my background as a therapist is what we tell ourselves continuously affects our beliefs, and we start believing it. And the beliefs that we hold about ourselves affect our actions. And that was true to me, and I see it in women every day that I serve, both at Heartbeat and Anchored in Hope. I had religion, I had family back when I made that choice. And the only difference now is I have that education. I have children, and I did not see my children until they were at least 12 weeks old on the ultrasound. So in my young mind, that is when the whole parenthood journey began. I never saw anything before that. And I think after my abortion, I didn't want to. You don't want to go asking questions that you don't want the answers to. But once I started at Heartbeat, that was the first time that I witnessed a 6-week-old ultrasound. I witnessed an 8-week-old ultrasound and a 10-week-old, and seeing that life on that screen before I had ever seen it, having kids, it changed something inside me. And I've always had my personal beliefs, but in that moment, I knew after seeing what I saw, I know too much. I could never make that decision again. And I knew in that moment I could never do it again. And it was because of that education. Now, granted, I wasn't there as a client, but even as staff, I was exposed to it. And that's what a lot of women don't get exposure to, because if they don't come to a place like Heartbeat of Toledo, when else are they going to see a 6-week, 8-week ultrasound? You know, if they are lucky enough to get into an OB, they're not doing it until 10, 12 weeks at the earliest. So that is one unique thing that I enjoy about Heartbeat of Toledo, is we're able to offer that snapshot of life and what it actually looks like at that moment. I know even as a Christian, you know, coming from a religious family, we like to think that abortion is beyond us. It doesn't happen in our homes, in our churches, in our congregations. Well, let me tell you, it does. And I would say there is more incentive to hide an abortion if you have a religious family, to cover that up. The shame just exponentially compounds, and a lot of times people say, well, you know, don't they have support? Don't they have mothers? Don't they have sisters? And I had all those things too. But the shame does not allow you to share that with others. You want to hide it. So same for our clients, you know, they may have mothers who would be supportive, fathers who would be supportive, to help guide them through that process. But if they don't ever know about it, they can't help. So Heartbeat of Toledo, we are oftentimes the first and a lot of times only people who know about that pregnancy, that child that's in that woman's womb, and the pain and fear that she's feeling in that moment. And it's an honor. And I believe it's an honor, and I think with that comes responsibility too. All it takes is one person to walk along somebody, you know, to say, you can do this, I'm here for you. And sometimes that person is an organization, you know, sometimes it's that nurse, sometimes it's that sonographer, sometimes it's that advocate to just offer hope. You know, hope is so powerful, and it can completely reframe our point of view from something that is a problem or a catastrophe to something that is an opportunity and life-changing. I've seen the change that happens from just one person being in your corner, one person saying, I believe in you, I'm here to help you, you know, and being honest, like things are going to get messy, things are going to be hard, but I'm here with you, you're not alone. And that's one thing that I love about Heartbeat is, you know, once that woman leaves our doors, she's followed up with throughout that pregnancy, you know, offered resources and support, and is not alone throughout that. Many women who have abortions, they are affected. You know, it may not be immediately, there may be an immediate sense of relief at first, but that pain, it does come out. Whether that's months, years, decades later, that pain comes out, and I've seen it, and I've worked with women who have struggled with it. I've gone through it myself and had to process through that. And at the end of the day, it is a loss. And what abortive women have found is they don't feel the right to grieve that loss because it was their choice. It's still a hurting woman, whether that hurt comes immediately or at the end. And what we've found at Heartbeat of Toledo is we have had women who have left our doors and had abortions come back and say, I regret my decision, or I'm struggling with my decision, will you talk to me? And that is a true testament for myself that we are doing a good job of offering love and non-judgmental support and hope to those women, that they can come back and talk through that pain and make a different decision the next pregnancy, you know? That's powerful for me. With being a nonprofit organization, there are a lot of people behind the scenes that make what we do happen. Staff, donors, volunteers, everyone involved with Heartbeat of Toledo has their own reason why. You know, whether that is to save the babies, whether that is to help the moms, whether that is to empower these women in decision making, whatever it is, we all have our own reason why we give to Heartbeat of Toledo, why we're employed with Heartbeat of Toledo. And what we do at Heartbeat of Toledo, we are there to help support the woman, educate her, empower her to make the best decision, because we do truly believe that the more knowledge she has in that decision, the better choice she'll make for herself. I wish I would have known about Heartbeat of Toledo back when I was faced with that decision, because I did experience the shame and I didn't tell anybody. Would my mom have helped me through the pregnancy? Absolutely. Would my sisters have been by my side? Absolutely. But I was too shameful to tell anybody. I didn't want anybody to know. And I really wish I would have had a place like Heartbeat of Toledo to come to, because I don't think I would have made the same decision if I would have known then what I know now. If I would have had that experience, that one person in my corner, and someone to show me what is actually going on inside my womb at that time. So I can say full-heartedly, I would not have made the same decision if I would have come somewhere like Heartbeat of Toledo. And that's why I am so passionate about it, because I want there to be a place like this for my daughters, you know, and my grandchildren. I want my daughters to come to a place where they feel safe and they can share stuff with me I have 3 teenage daughters, and I would hope that if one of them finds themselves in a situation of unplanned pregnancy, they are able to go somewhere like Heartbeat of Toledo, and I know that they would find compassion and non-judgmental support and hope to help guide them through. I completely trust Heartbeat of Toledo with helping my daughters going through a situation like that, because I know it can be hard to go to your mom. It can be hard to go to people who you don't want to let down. And that's where Heartbeat of Toledo is a safe place for a lot of these women. You know, we don't know them outside those walls. We're not there to judge them, and they can come to us without recourse and talk about what's going on. And I want to make sure that Heartbeat's around to offer that to my daughters and my grandchildren one day. And the longevity of this organization is at my core. That's my passion, and that's why I will always be involved in one way or another.